Good morning and welcome back to the channel. It's a bright and frosty morning here in Livingston, West Lothian in the central belt of Scotland. It is 0 degrees and we are heading this morning 360 miles or maybe 371 miles depending on which route I take to Milton, Keynes down in the south of England, around an hour or so north of London. So on the car, it's fully charged. We have got 214 miles on the gasometer. I think it's the car's been pre-warmed and pre-conditioned, so that's probably going to be reasonably accurate. And a better route planner is suggesting two different routes. It's either going to be, well, it's going to be around about 7 hours with 3 charging stops. So it's suggesting we stop at Gretna Green. It's suggesting we stop at Leeds Ionity, which was where we'll probably have lunch. It's suggesting another stop, but actually I don't think that will be needed. That's just south of Leeds, but actually I think as the weather warms up, we should be able to get from Leeds to Milton Keynes in one go. Anyway, check back later on and we will see how we've been getting on. So the first part of the journey this morning, I thought I'd just film it because the light outside is absolutely stunning. The first part of the journey is just along some local unclassified roads, I think these are, which will take me a little bit cross country and eventually join up with the A70, which will then take me across to the M74, which is the main west coast route down between Scotland and England. And from there we will a quick top up, probably a toilet break and a coffee stop at Gretna Green, just short of the English border. There's an Ionity charger there, or 4 Ionity chargers, so we'll have a quick top up. I think a better route planner is suggesting 10 minutes, which is what it'll take me to nip to the loo and get a coffee. And from there we cut across country on the A66 down to Scotch Corner, turn right, head south on the M1, and we'll stop for lunch and a charge at the Ionity chargers in Leeds. So again this morning I'm using a better route planner. You can see on the phone I've got EV Notify running, and that acts as the link between the car systems and a better route planner, and that then also lets me see the state of charge. So we're at 94% state of charge, and also lets me see that at the Ionity chargers at our first stop in Gretna, there are currently 2 chargers in use. Sorry, 1 charger in use. 1 charger appears to be out of service, and 2 that are available. So hopefully when we get down there in an hour and a half or so, then there will be a charger available. Have a quick top up, grab a coffee, nip to the loo, and then southwards across the border, turn left to Penrith along the A66, cross to the east coast, and then turn right onto the M1, and really from there it's the M1 the whole way to Milton Keynes. But we'll stop at Ionity in Leeds and grab some food and top the car back up. I think a better route planner was saying that in the 40 minutes or so that I've scheduled for lunch that we'll get back to 100%, and that I'm fairly confident will see us down to Milton Keynes. But we may want to stop along the way. If I'm stopping for a comfort break or a coffee, then might as well find somewhere that's got a charger and top up. There seem to be plenty high-powered chargers, that's over 100 kilowatts along that section of the M1, so really no problem. I've just stopped to sanity check the directions that a better route planner suggested, because it sent me up a tiny little back road here, and looking at it, there's actually 3 different choices. There's 342 miles, 344 and 344. The shortest route is the longest in terms of time though, but it's only got 2 charging stops, and that again is going straight down the A1, but the orange there suggests that I'd have to drive slowly. similar route, but actually diverting into the Ionity at Leeds and having another charging stop later on. That's the one that was showing me on the computer last night, and I think that one will be fine, and I'll have lunch around about Leeds. And then the final option is the way that they used to do. I used to do this in the Tesla, straight down the M6. And again, very similar in terms of distance, slightly shorter in terms of time. Actually, will I do that one? No, I'm going to stick on the Ionity network because it's cheaper to use Ionity in the Škoda. So anyway, that's the plan. And as you can see, the temperature, well, it was down at -4. It's now back warmed up to a balmy -3. So obviously not ideal for an EV. So we are now approaching Gretna Green. The car was predicting, or rather a better route planner was predicting, that we'd arrive with 50%. We're currently on 51% and we're about a mile away, so I reckon that's spot on. We've got 96 miles left in the tank, as it were. The efficiency has been really pretty brutal. It's actually improved slightly now we're on the motorway, ironically, and sitting at 70, but 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour over the last couple of hours. So we'll actually pull in, get plugged in. There's 3 Ionity chargers free. I happen to have a team meeting. This is a work trip I'm making today, so I've got a team meeting at 9:30, so I'm not going to be able to do much filming while we're at the charger. But it's not going to be a great speed I'm going to achieve. It's car sitting at 50%, so it's really not going to ramp up to 100 kilowatts. Plus the battery is still pretty cold at around about between 8 and 12 degrees. So we've got a cold battery, relatively high state of charge. I actually need to have a break, and that's the main reason, more than actually charging up. So I'll not bother filming at the charger, just take it as read that it wasn't a phenomenally fast state of charge, but this has been really easy so far. Nothing much to say. Autopilot has performed flawlessly on the way down on the motorway, and yeah, not much else you can say. Oh, and the other charger that is in use is an EV6, a Kia EV6 in red, same as Graham's. If you haven't checked out my friend Graham's channel, it's the joy of EV6, so go check him out. There's one of his Kia friends there. Anyway, I'm going to get plugged in, nip to the loo, grab a coffee and get ready for my team meeting in 10 minutes time. So the first Ionity charge is complete at Gretna Green. Because I was sitting on a team meeting on Microsoft Teams, I didn't want to be trying to do that on the move, so I actually sat there and charged to 92%. It's a pretty slow charge because, first of all, I was starting at a higher state of charge, and also the battery was pretty cold. So between that and the driving, the battery is now warmed up to 21 degrees, and we are on our way to Leeds. Prediction is we'll get there with 11%. It's been pretty accurate so far, so I'm hoping that'll be correct this time as well. And the temperature, I'm glad to say, has warmed up considerably. It is now, rather than -4, which we saw earlier, it's now +4. So positively tropical. Hopefully that will improve the efficiency. So basically it's time to sit back, enjoy the Cumbrian countryside, let the autopilot do its thing, and listen to some podcasts. So here we are at Leeds Skelton Lake Services. The car was predicting we'd get here on 11%. Even just a second ago it's predicting 19%. It's just updated to 20. So that's much better than I was expecting it to be. But I do need to stop. It's been a couple of hours since I last had a break, and it's lunchtime, so this is my planned lunch stop. So I don't know if you can see that on the screen. The charger is saying that the car's got 18% and it's only going to do 75 kilowatts. That might ramp up a little bit, but it's probably down to the, oh, it's going down the way. It's probably down to the battery being cold. Hopefully it'll speed up, but we can look at the charging curve later on Tronity. Right, time for some lunch. I've just passed the point where a better route planner originally told me to stop and I would need an extra charge. It reckoned I would be at 71%, whereas in reality I was at 80% when I passed that point. So I've just told it to recalculate anyway, and it now tells me I should get to Milton Keynes, which is in 98 miles, with 20% state of charge left. To Milton Keynes, just under 7 hours of drive time, which is slightly quicker than it would be taking the train. Obviously we had an hour or so of stops in there as well, but one of those was actually for a team meeting as well. So pretty impressed with the stats this afternoon. Since we charged in Leeds, that was 143 miles ago, 2 hours 31, and it's done 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, so a lot more efficient than it was this morning when we had the sub-zero temperatures. And if we look at the total for the journey, 357 miles. It was showing under 7 hours, but I've got the ignition on, so since I parked up it's ticked over the 7, but it was at 6 hours 55. And the overall average economy was 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour, so that obviously takes account of the very, very cold temperatures this morning when it was -4, -5. Overall, I'm really impressed with that. We've got here and we've got 33% left in the battery, so really happy with that. Means I can just park up at the hotel tonight, plug in and be fully charged, ready for the return trip tomorrow. Anyway, I hope that's some reassurance to people who may be wondering about whether to get the bigger battery or the smaller battery Enyaq. This is the iV60, the smaller 58 kilowatt hour battery, and I've just proven that I can make this long distance trip perfectly easily. In fact, it's just as easy doing it in this as it was in my Tesla Model 3. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Hope that's been of interest and of some use, and I'll speak to you soon.